two opposing beliefs being simultaneously true is part of reality. These things are a true gift if we tune into them. We can look at them as signals to us that something needs to change. It was the most incredible pain I've ever experienced, and my body was really screaming at me to get on a different path. Physical ailments connect through to emotional trauma and it manifests in our bodies because it hasn't been healed. I have reversed the perception of time. It feels like more time out of every single day than 24 hours. No matter what's going on in your life, understand this truth as you are perfectly designed. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You're perfect.
Welcome to the Differentiation podcast. My name is Michèle Sorgaroli. I'm your host, and today we are being joined by Luke Aulin. Luke is a top 40 under 40 Canadian entrepreneur who experienced an unsolicited, life-altering spiritual awakening that essentially inspired him to leave everything behind, explore the world, and challenge what he believed to be true. For the past 3 years plus or so, I believe Luke has been living an essentially nomadic life. He has been authoring his own story on his own terms and bravely asking the question, am I running from life or towards it? So this is going to be a fun conversation. Luke is joining us from Bali.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome, 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 Luke. I'm delighted that you're here. Thank you for joining us on
Thank
this
you so
beautiful day
much.
where you are.
I appreciate you having me, Michelle. Thank you.
Oh, it's been a treat. Luke and we've known each other. I was just looking back. We've known each other over 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've seen this journey in part take place, and I'm excited to learn more about it and share some of your story with our followers as well. What I want to start us with, Luke, right, going back sort of to the beginning before all of this change happened. Tell us
hmm
about a little bit about what your life looked like then. And then the second part of that to consider is from where we sit today, what would that earlier version of yourself have considered? Would you have expected, or what might they be surprised by about who you are now?
This
It's a
is
big question.
the huge question, and there's been so much change. So,
Yeah. Start us
but
off
to
in the
begin, yeah,
beginnings.
I had a very what I would say normal upper class, upper middle class Canadian upbringing. I was raised and born in Kamloops,
Oh,
and my my parents who eventually divorced, and I was quite young when it happened, and they both remarried. So I kind of think I have four parents that raised me. My step parents have been in my life many years. Um, but I was raised in a I'd say semi-normal family. My life turned into an entrepreneurial path like just before all this change started happening. In addition to the beauty of Bali, there is the odd bug that'll come around. So if you see me doing something, I'm just sort of gently wishing them along. Uh, yeah, I was a busy, determined startup founder, and I loved particularly the earlier parts of my entrepreneurial, the startup years of the business
mm,
creation process. So I
mm,
was very focused on this. I had a life partner of 15 years that I adored, um, and a large network of friends, comrades in business. Um, yeah, and I still have these connections to this day, and a
mm.
really beautiful family life with my siblings and my parents, and so it was a very you know full life, but something I think always sat in me that was nagging. And I've been a seeker my whole life, but I never,
Ah,
I never, I never grew up with. You mentioned having had a spiritual awakening. I think it's a fair summary to throw in there. I didn't grow up with any of this lineage. I didn't have like
mm,
religious background. I still don't affiliate with any one religion. But yeah, I would say the biggest change that's occurred for me is coming into a state where I was pretty plagued with lots of challenges. I would say mental health challenges in a very, consistent up and down type roller coaster.
Hmm.
And I had pockets where it was incredibly low, 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 low times.
Yeah.
Um, and so and I wrestled with those, and it was and I was always seeking, like, okay, well, what's the point of this? What's the, why are we here? What's the meaning? And these questions, these big existential questions, they stayed with me. They didn't go away in my teens. They didn't go away in my 20s. They didn't go away in my 30s. They were always
It
kind
was
of there.
destined.
Like, what are we doing here? Why are we here? But yeah.
Aw.
And so I would say, yeah, I'm at peace with a lot of these things now. First time in my life, I'm in a fairly consistent state. What's the biggest things that's changed? I feel like I'm in a very consistent state of flow, joy, equanimity, pick your words.
Hmm. It's
Um,
just
yeah.
to
And I'm on
hop
another
in.
side of something. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah. Well, I was just listening, and some of the language, even just noticing your body language right at the beginning as you were talking about your life before, you were still
Mm,
using really beautiful language. Even the word beautiful, there was
mm.
loving, there was a lot of expression of gratitude and
Yeah.
appreciation
Yeah.
and care and relationships. Um, and yet, as you commented, you said plagued by these challenges, the roller coaster of the highs and lows as you were seeking and wrestling. And I love that. As I was thinking, as I
Yeah.
heard you, I saw that. And often the seeker is wrestling from
Yeah.
my perspective. It seems
Yeah.
like it's rarely an easy journey, no
Yeah.
matter what we're
It's
seeking,
not.
right? We can't find easily when we're seeking. And typically when we're seeking something, it feels like it's an interesting word, seeking. It's not looking for, it's not hunting, but it's seeking. It's almost like there's a belief that you know it's there and you're trying to get
Yeah.
access to it. When we're seeking something, we use that word for things like truth and um,
Yeah.
authenticity, or we're seeking something that is not something to find where it is, not a place, but a different substance. I'm not articulating well, but
Yeah.
I'd love your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think we're all familiar with, we get these phrases, and we all have them. We get them from a young age, and we're told these things like happiness is an inside job. You have to
Mm,
find it from within. And and yet we particularly in the West, we have culture that is also, and as where seeking gets tricky, we're also taught that, like, if we just get that thing, then that
yeah.
then maybe that's where I'll find it from within. And but no, it's within. I don't need that thing. So we get caught in a bit of a endless trap of, okay, I'll, once I have $1 million business, then I'll be happy. Oh, wait, once I have a $10 million business, I'll be happy. Wait, once I have
Yeah.
the kid, I'll be happy, or the house, I'll be happy. And we all know this is sort of like pretty much consistent contract to suffering, because consistently you get that thing, and then you're still left with this. And so I certainly relate to that. I struggled with that for the
Totally.
longest time, and um, and while simultaneously hearing the adage that, well, no, happiness isn't about that. It's about, it's about finding within. But what I think is um, not commonly taught is, like, where within,
Mm. Hmm.
with,
Beautiful.
with within ourselves, but where, and how do we truly access that?
Hmm.
And I think we don't go far enough to understand or explain to each other that it's only ever a feeling. It's never ever a thing. It's always a feeling.
You're
We
touching
we
on,
we
yeah,
want we want to feel things. We
yeah,
want feelings, and we want the good ones.
yeah.
We want we we
The
want to
things we
we
do to
want to
get those
feel,
good feelings.
yeah, to get things we. And so then it's
Oh,
okay. Well, hang on. So within is a feeling, and actually we can access these. We can access the tapestry of all the feelings at any point in time. We can all be the thing that we want to feel, and just understand that it's not connected to the thing. And then, figuring out that, and figuring out the feeling we want to feel, and then feeling it now without the thing. The thing automatically starts coming toward you when you're in that state. And so,
Yeah.
and you never actually needed it. And it is true. And happiness does come from within, but it's like figuring out that within. And it can go even deeper than this, like within, and this is something I came to stumble upon. That's why, like, I wrote my book as a way to say, like, I didn't understand what I was seeking necessarily, but
Right.
within, you can access some incredibly pure states of consciousness, um, without any substances, with our own body system.
Hmm.
And we can do this. We can do this with practice, and access, very pure states of loving awareness, loving presence, and
Mm.
uh, and it's in all of us. We all
Hmm.
have this ability, and so, the depth of understanding what that means, that happiness comes from within, uh, like this state of awareness, the state of being is quite a beautiful revelation if people just, you know if they really truly want to access this, they can. We all can. And the wisdom's been taught for centuries. It's
Mm.
primarily deeply understood in more Eastern traditions than Western ones, but increasingly it's coming more and more to the West because people are just starving for peace in a
Some
world that
flow.
seems increasingly chaotic
It
and
does.
fast and out of control, and da 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 da, that's causing people into,
Yeah.
staying in a loop of fear cycle. So
Can I inject
um
for just a
yeah,
second? Can I pop in?
yeah,
Yeah, because
sure.
you're really highlighting as I'm hearing you, I'm coming back to the seeker and the wrestler. And I'm
Yeah.
the reason so is I'm seeing, I'm as I'm hearing you, we talk about we're seeking this feeling that is
Yeah.
an intangible, and we're wrestling with the tangible or the physical body or the physical state of our environment, the physicality of our life. So it
Yeah.
feels to me
Sure.
like that there's that push and pull where the experience of the feeling is being, or access to the experience of the feeling is inhibited by our physical life, if you will, as we're wrestling, trying to perhaps expand beyond our physical life and look beyond
Mm.
that. That's
Hmm.
is a piece because you said you didn't understand what you were seeking, and yet people,
Yeah.
most of us are seeking in one way or another, whether we might call it that or not. We're typically looking for something, and often we don't know. And interesting that you put your
Sure.
finger on it and said it was a feeling. So as
Yeah.
and when we're hearing you coming from the Western culture, you said you were a builder and you loved the game of business and you
Yeah.
you were inspired by all of that, which was the physical, tangible rewards that were not
Yeah.
generating
Yeah.
the feeling you were seeking. Is that right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Thank
Totally.
you. As I'm trying to
Yeah.
follow you in
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah. Yeah. And as an entrepreneur, I love, and there's still this element in me. It's not one without the other. I
Mhm.
still want to build. I still care deeply about helping people. Um, I still want to bring solutions to the world that make life more easeful. Um, I think I've wanted something more consistently permanent, I would say. Like, we're gonna have ups and downs in life, but I think what, it's like driving my scooter in Bali. I don't know, it was about 2 years ago, and this moment happened. It's raining, and this Balinese woman, her she's got a package of things on her scooter. Sometimes these scooters are overflowing with items, in Asia. And she lost her items. They are flying out of the side of her
Oh,
scooter, and these are her possessions. Yeah, exactly. So she pulls over, and I'm like, oh no. I watch her as I'm like slowing down so I don't make it more difficult for her. She throws her kickstand out. She turns around to come down to collect her things, and I get to see her face, and she has this, like, she has the joy of like a 5-year-old going to play in the sandbox. Like, you know, like the circumstance, the situation, she's not met with
Mm.
what I would typically expect to see in the West is someone's angry, pissed off,
Hmm.
frustrated, like stressed out. Oh my God, she is in complete state of joy. Like, I gotta pick up my
Yeah.
things and bring them back to my scooter. Traffic's going like, she's just like, it's just play. And I
Yeah.
remember thinking to
Oh.
myself, that's the way. If we can have a childlike wonder in everything that we're doing and be engaged in what we're doing as though it's like it's this state of joy and play. And that's sort of like, okay, we kind of made it.
Yeah.
Recognizing that we need the contrast, we need the ups and
Yeah.
downs. We're going to have those things. But if we can get to a place where it's this like more consistently in this state, that's a I think that's something we all remember. We all loved that time
Mm.
of our life. We all have this child in us that still
We've been there.
wishes to come out.
Hmm.
And if any of us have been parents, which I've yet to experience, but I've got relationship with many friends who do, and they see their kids. It's like, man, that they get it.
Hmm.
They're tapped into the spirit of the human experience without the propriety of have to deliver this, have to do
Hmm.
that. And I think that it's so I still want to provide solutions to the world, and I'm still very, very entrepreneurial. I think I've broken with the contract or the illusion that when I deliver something that it's going to be the thing that stays constant, and that's where I'm not attached to those outcomes as much anymore, because the human experience is change. It's constant change. And
Mm.
I often think about, even, we can argue, let's take like Henry Ford as like a world-class entrepreneur who changed through manufacturing the vehicle, the world forever. And we went from horse and carriage. And if I think about having to travel to Southeast Asia, over 100 years ago, it would be
Yeah.
sailboat, faced with pirates and dysentery and starvation. And then, okay, and then I get to land, and it's maybe like horse and carriage, and it's like months of a journey, and it's terrible though. And here we are, we can fly airplanes and we can drive cars, and we're in the new place in no time. And it's like, wow, what a beautiful thing in modern time, and what an innovation and such an entrepreneurial feat, and life is so much better. Oh, but hang on, we need fuel to fly those things, and it's
Mm.
causing global warming, and now we have war and strife for oil. And it's
Mm.
like, well, is this thing in itself, is it is it truly only good, or are we
Mm.
seeing are we seeing like a positive and a negative happening
Hmm.
along with a lot of the solutions we bring to the world? And I think that's actually more true, is that we can't know the ways we change and impact and try to improve the world, the ways that we also simultaneously might be causing some downsides.
Yeah.
And so I believe in positive improvement, and change over time has overall been good and great, but I just don't have a signed contract to like, when I deliver that or build that, that's going to be the thing that gives me that consistent state of joy,
Mm.
flow, childlike wonder. It's like, no, that is now accessed irrespective of the outcomes in the world. It can have
Right.
that now. You can we,
Yeah.
we can have that all along the way. It doesn't need to come later. It comes
Hmm.
all the way throughout. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm curious.
kind of
So,
think about these things.
oh yeah. Yeah. My brain's busy at the moment. I'm just trying to capture everything. Slow down, stop it. Um, um, something I'm thinking about as you're talking, I'm thinking about the Luke in Western Canada 10 years
Yeah,
ago, and he was going. And
yeah.
you've been through your journey, and it's obviously a continuation nonetheless from where you are now. What wisdom, if you were listening to yourself, if the younger Luke from 10 years ago were listening to yourself today, how might you have heard what you're saying?
Yeah. It. I think. uh, Yeah. There's something about You know, if if you think if you think something in your life is, roses, that might be the time to inspect it. Uh, Stay humble, stay open. You don't know, you don't know how it's going to go.
Is
You
that is
can't
that
know
what you
how
would have
you
been thinking back then? I'm
I,
curious.
I would have thought that I was clear on many things and that
Mm,
I had a lot of things figured out. And I maybe carry some of that to this day, but I think the only thing I've figured out now is that there and I'm helped by other thinkers, and one in particular is David Deutsch, who wrote a book called The Beginning of Infinity, and spends the first three chapters talking about our understanding of knowledge, which I've come to just, I think, become a very, very true thing. And then that's this: it's knowledge is conjecture. That what we think we
mhm,
know is in a state of constant change and really subject to the context of what we think we know.
mhm,
And so for
mhm.
I think that makes life incredibly rich. I think maybe that might terrify a lot of people. It's like, of course there are facts. Of course there are, and we spend so much time, especially in the West, linear science, A to B stuff, and
Mhm.
we have, there's so much pressure on knowing. Um, I love his framing that knowledge is conjecture. We're only, and this is the title of the book is Beginning of Infinity. And the idea is that we're only ever at the beginning of an infinite amount of knowledge and understanding. And what we think we know today is in the state of constant change, constant
Mm,
flux. And so, um, yeah, I think with that in mind, it opens up a playground for us to create the
mhm,
reality we all want, and we can carve out anything we want for ourselves. We can quite literally follow our belief through to see it in the world, and so it will be. And it may be opposite or contrary to someone else's belief,
mhm,
and theirs can also simultaneously be true. And so this, like, getting completely comfortable with paradox is, I think, makes things so easeful. What you know two opposing beliefs being simultaneously true is part of reality. So it's just relax a little, and you don't have to fight as much, and it's okay, let them have that, and it's fine that they see it this way, and we can have a much more peaceful existence with each other. We don't need to fight. So yeah, I think that would be helpful for younger Luke to kind of let go a little more easily.
mhm.
um, yeah, and be a little bit less stressed out about it all. Um, the other thing that I would say is, slow down. Yeah,
Tell us
I
more
ran
when you
before the
say that.
whistle. I ran before the whistle a lot.
Mm,
you
mhm.
know, and and I there we get taught, especially because my professional life was technology, so it was like speed, 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 and it's
Yeah.
like go go, move fast and break things, and you know pivot. Oh shoot, this isn't working. I think I would just say, yeah, take more time, put more breath in your calendar. uh you know
Love that.
Slow
Yeah.
down, it's
Slow
okay.
down.
Slow
So
down, yeah.
is that the language? You talked about common language here in
Yeah,
Western culture. Pivot,
yeah,
move fast, break things.
yeah,
What's the language that you might replace that with? You said slow down. What else would you say if you
yeah.
wanted to have a mantra to support a different way of being?
um yeah, yeah, slow down, and I think it's listen to your body. Get out of your head. Uh, listen to your body more. It signals to us. It really does. And
Yeah.
and um when you we think it's our conscious mind that's driving the bus, but it's not. It's the stuff underneath.
Do you think that's what we're
Uh,
seeking?
it, oh,
Access,
100%.
access
Yeah.
to that sense of listening to our body, the ability to do so.
I, I think I think it's I think there's a wealth of knowledge in this instrument that we all carry that has a deep intuition that's connected to the things that are around us and signals to us in
Mm.
ways that we are, at least I certainly was, and I still feel like when I travel back home, people are very busy in their
Mm.
heads. And in that state, oh, we need, and this is, we need more data. We need, how can we make decisions if we don't have the data? So big data centers, AI, large language models, da, 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 da. We don't have the intelligence. We're not smart enough. We need more data. I just, your body knows what's best for you as you're living through this vessel in this temporary time we get to have a life, and it's got an intelligence and an intuition if you
Mm.
can get out of this thinking mind and the trap of trying to figure out all these things, because no AI, no mind can process how much is going on. But your body actually can and does, and it signals to you what's right for you. If you get into and so this is where slowing down is helpful, because it's helping you stop this monkey mind constant trap of like overthinking and get into a state of tapping into your intuition, your gut. Your body will tell you, okay, do I want this or do I want that? And really get good at listening to your body. And it gets a lot easier when you're tuned into that.
Mm.
I just, so I'd say that's like other language that I would say is flip the
Yeah.
switch. Our body, I would also say our subconscious mind, we're often acting out from a place of something in us that has been wounded and left unhealed, that our
Hmm.
minds have in the conscious corners of it has wrapped a nice little box around it. It's like, don't look over here. But on a subconscious level, it's driving things, and causing us to step into behaviors. And sometimes it's doing it because the only thing that feels safe is re-wounding or going into a place of,
Hmm.
where we're hurting again,
The
because
comfort
that's
of that.
familiar
We
and,
know it. Yeah.
comfort, and we
Yeah.
get comfortable with it, and we get caught
Even though
up in.
it's not
And
comfortable,
you
it's
and
comfortable.
even though yeah, and you see it in the movies people
Yeah.
watch, and what's like the massive blockbusters that make millions or hundreds of millions of dollars. They're quite toxic. They're like,
Mm.
the news cycles. It's addiction to
Hmm.
these are addictions
Hmm.
to suffering that
Absolutely.
is keeping people trapped in a bit of a
Yeah.
prison. and
Yeah.
uh and if people would get in tune with their bodies more, they would realize this isn't good for my system. Like,
So,
I'm in my nervous system is so alert right now. I'm in fight or flight. You get people yelling at their TV screens, and you're just like, if you try to come out of that head and that thinking mind, come into your body's screaming at you, like, get me to a place of safety. This isn't what I want.
right.
But we get stuck. It's not easy
No, it's a tough
to break
aspect. Now
free.
you've had a unique experience. So I want to bring you to your
Sure.
unsolicited awakening, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
Because yours was very much, as I understand, only the brief part of your story, but I understand it was your body speaking to you and alerting
Yeah.
you to something that you were as yet unaware of. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I was uh yeah, I was for about a year. I wasn't sure I was going insane or if my body was totally failing me.
Hmm. So your
Yeah.
body was speaking to you, and so that caused you
Yeah.
to be, end up where you are here. When you look back on that time,
Yeah.
knowing what you know now, when your body was speaking to you, what wisdom can you bring forward for people whose bodies are, maybe they're thinking, I mean, maybe I'm going insane, or
Yeah.
maybe my body is trying to communicate with me. What wisdom might you
Yeah.
share there?
Yeah. When maybe for some people it's that they're not quite using the language like my body's screaming at me, or it could be that, and it was for me, is like uh I'm I'm depressed, or
Mhm.
I can't quite get to uh a state of like high, energy that I desire, or I don't want to go and do those things. I'm miserable in this way, or I don't like this, and we're looping on these. It could be just like negative loop thoughts. Um, I, we all go through transformation. We all go through change. I think the depth of mine was quite profound. Is an incredibly large experience, very dramatic in my case. I would just like encourage people to understand that we can change our relationship to this. In the West, it's considered bad and negative. You know,
What is
we're not
considered
supposed to
bad?
have like depression, or
Okay.
or sickness, or
Hmm.
and we don't want these things. If our body's doing something, it's like, God, it's no good. I need the pill. Where's the pill? Give me
Hmm.
the pill to solve this problem. And I was like this. I went to three different vertigo specialists because I thought I had vertigo. I had this wave-like quality um, to my perception of reality, where it was like, I'm on a boat. That's how I kind of
Hmm.
felt. Is how I would
That
describe
would
it.
be very
But
unsettling,
I'm
I
not.
imagine.
I'm like, I'm not on a boat. We're not on a boat. But it was like the wind would come, and I could feel the wind kind of flowing through me, uh, but I had no nausea, no headaches. But I went to I ended up at the top vertigo specialist, I think in Canada, or it may have been in British Columbia. And they're all ruling it out. I went to a heart doctor, blood doctor. I had these strange phenomenon happening in therapy. Was being given all kinds of things that were going on with me, but like no one could pinpoint what was happening. And this ultimately became like the subject of my books. I was documenting these strange phenomenon and writing about them as I was
Yeah.
coming out of them, and being like, man, I don't even know if I believe what I went through. Like, how is anyone else going to believe? And then someone had to point to what it was. But what I came to see is like these things are a true gift if we tune into them and instead of denying them,
Mm-hmm.
instead of thinking that they're only bad, we can look at them as signals to us that something needs to change and we need to
Hmm.
evolve. We're being asked to change. We're being asked to evolve. We're being signaled that whatever some area of our life isn't on the right track, and and I think what I missed earlier on in life is if I had an attunement to listening to my body earlier, I probably could have avoided those things that I chose to go down and the ways that I was showing up that I chose to go down
Hmm.
rather unconsciously. And but but thought I was making rational, informed
Yeah.
decisions from the mind. Sort of in my case, they kind of mounted up into becoming like a rather big thing that needed a massive course correction. Uh,
Yeah.
and it's just, it so happened that for me, it was the most incredible pain I've ever experienced, the highest amount of grief I've ever gone through. I lost the love of my life in a very like blink of an eye. We were together happily for a very long time, and in just the span of a few weeks, it like erupted. And I found myself with like my reality more or less shifted in a very,
Hmm.
very short amount of time. So and and my body was really screaming at me to get on a different path. So
Hmm.
um yeah, I think we all, I think we all, maybe we can all relate to this, is we've noticed where we get this signal and it's like, this isn't for me. Rational mind, do it anyway. You do it, and then it's like, "Fuck, why didn't I listen to my
Yeah.
why didn't I listen to my gut? Like,
Yeah.
something was off with that, something didn't really sit with me, that, and it's like 100% of the time this is the case. Like, no,
Yeah. Don't
we
do it.
in the West, we gotta break the contract with our mind being the place that's driving the bus. It just isn't. Like,
Yeah.
listen to ourselves, listen to that subconscious, listen to that little voice that's sort of like, and then slow down and really feel into what the right thing to do is.
Oh my
So
gosh, I couldn't
yeah,
agree with you. I call it for me in my language, I call it our sense of knowing. And
yeah,
when we have
yeah,
that sense of knowing,
totally.
it's our body. I mean, as I like to say it, I say our body has got so many receptors and so much wisdom and so much access to so much more than we can possibly process at a rational level.
Yeah,
We cannot compute, literally. There's
yeah,
just
yeah,
not enough. What is it, RAM? Is it RAM?
yeah,
Is it
exactly.
RAM? There's not
I'm not
enough,
sure, but
not
yeah,
whatever it is in the
I
computer.
know what
There's
you
just not
mean.
enough of it
Yeah,
to
yeah,
process all of that data that's coming in through the energetic forces and through our body. And when we experience the wisdom of knowing, it's things like hairs go up on the back of our neck, or we get goosebumps, or
yeah,
our body is
yeah,
signaling,
totally,
right? Our body's, and
100%.
everybody's had these experiences. And
Yeah,
often, very
yeah,
after the fact, we'll look back and think, I knew that. I should have paid attention.
yeah. Why didn't I listen?
Why
Yeah,
didn't I listen?
100%.
So
Yeah,
we all have these moments, but then it's
yeah,
interesting. We tend to deny them when they're less pronounced, or
yeah,
perhaps when there's data that says otherwise, where
yeah,
the rational mind or we're wrestling again with I'm coming back to that language, we're wrestling with our physical space and our physical life. And we're thinking,
yep,
yeah, but okay, that's all fine and dandy, all this feeling stuff over here, but we got this physical life that we have to live, and I've got responsibilities, and I've got things I have to do, and
yeah.
they're
I've got
expected of
parents that
me.
expect a certain thing of me. I've got culture
Exactly.
around me that
Yeah.
expects a certain thing of me. Oh, we're supposed to do this a certain way here. This is
Hmm.
what everyone else is doing. Why,
Hmm.
how come? But wait a minute, how come that doesn't feel like?
Doesn't feel right.
Is this what we all really? Is this really what we want? Like, are we
Yeah.
really where we
Asking
want to
the
be as a
questions.
culture? Like, are we?
Hmm.
Like, yeah, it's like,
So
I think
as you
everyone's answer is like no, but
More often
we
than
just
not,
carry on.
yeah, we just carry on. I think it's interesting. There's different versions of the no. It could be a smaller
Yeah,
shift, or it could be a more dramatic shift, depending on, what
sure.
kind of signals people are getting. But I would offer that the more pronounced the signals, the bigger the misalignment with your truth, right?
Yeah.
With what you're being called. I
Uh,
loved that you said, the signals are gifts because they are highlighting that we're being asked to evolve. That's what you said.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Signals that
Don't
we're being
deny
asked
them,
to
and
evolve.
and
Yeah.
and don't look at them as just a problem to solve and make go
Right.
away, like with some sort of like quick fix solution. It's uh I firmly believe like physical ailments that a lot of people are going through connect through to emotional trauma they've had that they
Mm.
haven't quite yet healed, and it manifests in our bodies because it hasn't been healed. I
Hmm.
firmly believe this now. And you know there's no pharmaceutical solution to this stuff. This is like deep level work. It's body work. It's not the tools we typically have as the toolkit. I think
Yeah.
there's an increasing array of things people are
Mm.
trying. I've certainly done a lot of my own that I would there's lots I would vouch for, and there's lots of stuff that I would just say could be snake
Yeah.
oil, if you will.
Hmm.
But our bodies will tell us, actually, if you get good at this, your bodies will tell you what's for you and what's not for you if you really, really tune in. And um, the other, yeah, the one thing I would say too is people, especially in the West, we sort of outsource stuff because we believe in these experts over
Hmm.
here, and
Hmm.
we're in this system of like, well, no, they're the expert at that, I got to follow
Right.
them. And I'm not saying don't listen to your doctors and health professionals and therapists. Like, there's so many tools at our disposal, but there's so many more than is commonly most popularly understood. uh you know but you're your own healer. Everyone's their own healer. Everyone knows their own system more than anyone else will ever know, and what's gone on in their life, the stories they tell that they're conscious of. potentially stuff that's nagging, that's under the surface that they haven't quite remembered or processed around, and then what's going on inside their own body. They'll have the intelligence. We all have the intelligence beyond anyone else outside of our system. And so
Absolutely.
getting to a place of faith and understanding that you're your own healer, only you will know the truth. And again, get good at tuning into like, what did that person say and did it seem right to me?
Mm-hmm.
Or because
Mm-hmm.
they might be the expert on this, but like it's actually not lining up in this way and it didn't quite
Mm-hmm.
listen to that. That's like that stuff's gold. It's treasure. And so it's take the power back. Get good at taking your own power back. And I'm having some rain come in
Oh,
at the moment. Are we okay audio wise? It's
totally.
like the
Yeah.
roof is, yeah, okay,
Oh,
wonderful.
good.
Yeah, Mama Bali, yeah, having a cleanse.
She's having a cleanse.
Yeah.
So as as you're talking about accessing these truths and listening to your body, and you've been on this journey for the last 3.5 years or so, really getting in tune with who you are and what your truth
Hmm.
is. Um,
Yeah.
I'm curious now because you're still a business owner, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So as you've gone through all of this change and you have a business still in the Western Canadian or Western culture, if you will,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
serving Western culture clientele or serving that. How do you transpose all of this learning and wisdom and change into the work that you're doing today as compared to the work you were doing 5 years ago before all of this happened?
Yeah. Uh, so I own a digital marketing agency, and the nature of this market is one of fairly rapid change, technological landscape that's moving very, very quickly. Um, and of course, everyone's aware of AI and the change around AI. Um, we're adapting. I'd say this is like I look at it differently than I used to, in that I would say we're adapting at a pace that makes way more sense to the organization
Mm,
instead of racing into the next thing or looking for the quick hit or the it's it's going a lot slower and waiting for being okay to wait for the truth of what comes out when we're in the mix of all this change. We get these massive amounts of pressure when we're in and and the technology business is kind of like this, that hype cycle, sees this
mhm.
flooding race of activity and then the vast majority of it is just wasted value. It doesn't hold, it doesn't stick. So, and I'd say it used to be like, let's speed into it and figure out, get ahead of the curve. We got to be that. It's like, no, it's okay. At the end of the day, we've always been a people business. Nothing's changed. I've always believed that the fundamental thing that drives company value is its people. Having a great culture, having a workplace people love showing up into. So we're less fussed about the latest greatest trend or hit or thing, but it's like watching it and moving slowly into like, where is the true value going to be created, and then being a part of that, and that becomes how we change and evolve as an organization and deliver value and service to our clientele. I'd say that's a difference. Everything else fundamentally, the core of the business hasn't changed. We have the
Mhm.
same core values. We have the same, our core values are, and one of them is uncover a better way. And this speaks to what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
It's like the humble pursuit of better. It's lifelong learning. It's like no sacred cows. Uh, strong opinions loosely held. Check the healthy ego in the room, um, so that we don't, end up in this like dogmatic, stuck way of
Yeah.
thinking. So, and then, truth and trust and transparency. So foundationally, we don't, we go through as a team, and we've got a lot of the same core members that have been loyal, long-term employees, and
Amazing. Yeah.
and we gel and create value and have rating customer reviews because we're just people focused. We're focused, and
Yeah.
that we don't need to. I think people are fundamentally, we don't change as fast as the world around us seems to want us to. We just don't. So
Yeah, kind of
I
absolutely
I I
physical.
I yeah,
I have a
yeah.
question
It's
about your because you listed off these things that have been guideposts or pillars for your company and your team and your culture. And
yeah.
you said that they haven't changed. And I'm curious, as has your relationship with them changed in terms of how you see them manifest now as compared with then?
I think the team runs much more autonomously now. I used to be a lot more involved in a lot more things, just naturally evolved to where we communicate really well. We're effective at understanding who does what and where, and um, you know, relationship. No, certainly like the content of my book and what I'm putting out in the world is very little to do with my entrepreneurial journey
Hmm.
or my company. I'm not publishing like the marketing
Yeah,
to know how manual that's going to drive more clients into RTown.
that would be
It just
unexpected.
wasn't my yeah, it just wasn't my truth as and frankly, the book only got born because I was going through a lot of stuff and going through a lot of healing and going through a lot of things simultaneous to the
Hmm.
business running and continue. We did an acquisition in the last 2 years, 2.5 years ago. We did an acquisition, bought an agency out of Eastern Canada, folded it in. It
Nice.
went well. Picked up some amazing new team members who are still here, um, uh yeah, so but I guess I'm navigating this, compartmentalizing these worlds to
Hmm.
some degree and figuring out, okay, where they fit, because this isn't like an extension of the R-Town brand, what I'm publishing
Right.
here. It's an extension of Luke. I
Hmm.
happen to be the founder, one partner in the business of R-Town. um, but yeah, and I hand wrote this book, not even knowing 100% that I was writing a book. I just was writing profusely because I didn't want to go crazy. B, I didn't really believe everything I was going through. So I was trying to document it as like, is this even,
Yeah.
happening? Like, what is going on here? This is so strange. And then I had 10 leather bound journals full of words by the end of about a year and a half of going through some very, very large shifts energetically and psychologically and in my consciousness. So I was like, gosh, I think people need to hear about this. So
Hmm.
I was really, really pushed. And I've had a 20-year dream to write a book. I have a half written book in my 20s I never finished. So I was like, okay, so now's the time. And I hired a team to assemble them to help me get the book across the line. But they're very, very, very different worlds.
Hmm.
This is a story of a personal, very, very personal journey uh, that may end up in some sort of self-help category, although it's a memoir. But I think there's a lot in it because it's like the story of mental health struggles and consistently running into them, and then having a very big
Hmm.
experience, and then really understanding them an emotional and intellectual level to, I think, provide value to people who maybe can relate to some of the struggles. I think there's a lot of
Hmm.
different parts where people will be able to grab onto and go, God, I see that in myself. And how did he get through that? What did he do about it? And
Hmm.
I've done a lot of things, and a lot that didn't work, but then I've also done some things that really, really worked. And they were so surprising to me that I was like, I got to be a voice for these alternatives, so people can go get real help and treat root cause, not just symptoms, and come to a place of wholeness in themselves.
There
So
you go. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Humbly in pursuit of better.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally.
So
It's like
rings
every
true.
level of life. It's like this or something better. I'm not going back. It's this or
Hmm.
something better.
Hmm.
And so and by the way, the audience is you. There is no one else. So enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just you.
you're the only one because you're the healer,
You're the
you're the one
one.
who's building, you're the one who's
Yeah,
creating, right?
yeah, exactly. It's you.
No, it's beautiful. The
Yeah.
as we reflect on this conversation and we came in and out of some key themes, and I know we didn't dig deep into your the depth of your awakening or your story, and I was wanting to
Mm.
leave that for those to invest in your book and invest in themselves to experience that journey because it's one that can't be told in a productive way here, I think, in a way that gives it any
Yeah, yeah,
credibility. There's just too much goodness in there. So
yeah.
I want to
Thanks.
emphasize that. And as we're reflecting on today's conversation, I'm really um, thinking about this journey where we started. You know, you talked about knowing you've always been a seeker and a wrestler, and the journey of seeking and wrestling at the same time. And primarily in your earlier years, it seems to me that the seeking was driving to a more informed by and driving to more tangible outcomes, if you will, tangible
Hmm.
results. You were seeking tangible, and
Hmm.
you didn't know that that's not what you wanted. But so that's where the wrestling was coming in, because like this isn't working. I'm wrestling with
Hmm.
these. I'm wrestling with all this because the thing that I'm seeking, that I'm actually achieving, isn't necessarily what I was actually seeking,
Yeah,
but we don't know. So I'm hearing a
yeah,
lot of that in your journey, and I can sense that as we're talking today, there's a peacefulness, as you talked about it, fluidity, flow,
mm,
consistency. There's a
yeah,
much more grounded, even though you've got this wave. There's
yeah,
a more
yeah,
grounded sense of presence
yeah,
in the moment, in each moment. Am
yeah.
I art?
I'm a lot more present than I've ever been in the last few years. I have a strange phenomenon that has my perception of time slowed right down. So a lot of people in the West, particularly, will talk a lot about how time goes so much faster the older we get, and they've done studies about this. The the average lifespan of the average man or woman, let's say it's 86, 88, I think,
Mm-hmm.
something like this.
I think
But
so.
from our so half life of that is like 44. But from our perception of time, the average Western person, their half life is 26. So this phenomenon of time speeding up as we get older
Mm.
is very real. It's something a lot of people relate to and talk about.
Mm-hmm.
God, summer went by so fast. Man, the kids grow up so fast. Time just races by. In a blink of an eye, it's over before you know it. And so then we've got like all this investment pouring into longevity and like biohacking and like I just have a very simple solution. And so for me, the last 3 years has felt like 9 years. I've completely reversed this perception of time thing in my, I was just in the summer in Europe. I was there for 2 weeks. I was mistaken with my partner of saying like, "Oh, we've been in Europe for like about 9 weeks, 10 weeks," and she was like, "What are you talking about?" So I have a very cool, I think,
Mm.
life hack that I stumbled into, which is like, I think actually if I live to 100, I'll feel like I lived 200 plus years because I have reversed the perception of time, and it's slowed right down to have
Mm.
more out of more. It feels like more time out of every single day than 24 hours. That's how I perceive time now. And it really does have a lot to do with presence. It does have a lot to do with
Mm.
sitting in presence and being aware and tuning in and getting out of the state of rushing around, constantly rushing around. So uh, it's we don't need the pill that's going to make us.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine, like, if time speeds up as most people are getting older, then if we do figure out a way to live to 200, who cares if it feels like a day? Like, why do we need to buy that thing? Like, if the last 100 years feel like 2 years, like, who cares?
Yeah.
I tell you what, you don't need any pills. You can slow down by yourself. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to do anything. Just like slow down, tune in, become like get tuned into the present.
Well, the
And
present,
man, it's so interesting. It's like,
well, you start that, going right back to the beginning, the start of your book talks about the snail and
yeah,
the
this is
snail, the
like,
pace of the snail and whatnot. And I feel like you're sort of tapping into a little bit of that,
yeah, I had a very, very big, strange emotional experience with a snail. And it's like becomes a metaphor for the message, and and I think that yeah, I think it's a good one. As it's okay to slow down, it's okay to tune in, listen to yourself.
yeah,
So yeah, lots of snail stuff in there.
lots of snail stuff. It's beautiful. Um, Yeah, exactly. So, Luke, I introduced you saying that you've been bravely asking this question, as are some of the people in your life probably around you. Are you running from life or running towards it? And
Yeah,
how might that journey, how might you like to share that with us, the answer to that question?
yeah, it's I've always told myself it's toward my whole life. But I think the truth is it's both, and that's okay. It's uh, you know uh, both are true. Speed can also lead to good places. You can have a great quarter. You can really hit those milestones and those KPIs. You can really grow that business. You can really make it even bigger, and that's great if that's what you want. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's also okay simultaneously to slow down and not be as stressed out to make that happen. It's
Mhm.
totally okay to choose another way. And both of these can happen at the same time. And one isn't necessarily better than the other. It's only what's for you that matters at the end of the day, but it's tuning into what's truly for you that's the
Mhm.
difference. And um, so yeah, I'm coming to terms with the fact that at the same time that I do feel I was more moving toward things, I was also saying goodbye to old contracts, and I'm okay with that. And it doesn't make people who hang on to those worse, or it doesn't make anyone wrong. It just I'm a lot clearer on what's for me,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. So that's it.
And
That's
your
life. We
body
all
is
get to have
signaling.
one.
Exactly.
Yeah, my body's telling me, okay, man, way
You're
to
on
go.
track. That's beautiful. You
Yeah.
just brought us right back to where you started at the beginning of the conversation, getting comfortable with the paradox,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
They can
Yeah.
both happen at the same time. It's not one or the other.
Two opposing things can be simultaneously true, and it's okay. It's how it is. It's all good. We don't need to fight each other.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So as you're thinking about the next part of your journey,
Yeah.
what are you looking forward to as you think about the next 3.5 or 4 years, especially since the last 3.5 been so interesting?
Well, I've fallen in love and I've proposed to
Oh,
a
oh,
beautiful woman, and our life is taking shape in such miraculous ways. So in
congratulations.
the next thank you very much. In the next bit of time, I'll be a married man for the first time in my life. Um, yeah, I'll continue to get the story out and continue to support RTown and other ventures I hope to get off. I see myself spending more and more time in the area of wellness and
Mm,
supporting people, on their own journeys to heal things. And really excited about the future of wellness. So yeah, but yeah, just enjoying it as I go along and moving about the world.
lovely.
So
Oh,
yeah,
it's beautiful.
that's the
So,
immediate plan.
right? So you got a
Yeah.
book coming out for those of you who are interested. It's going to be out shortly, very shortly. And I'd encourage you to pick it up. It's a profound, provocative exploration that might invite you to look differently at the way you're experiencing the signals from your body, perhaps your mind as well. Luke, for those who would like to follow along your journey and perhaps experience more inspiration from you, where would be the best place for them to find you?
So my website is lukeaulin.com. So LukeAulin.com. I've got a newsletter that is purely devoted to topics of unity and beauty. I'm on, yeah, first name, last name on the regular social media platforms as well.
Okay,
Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. So
perfect.
these are the places. Yeah.
Well, we'll make sure
Yeah.
that at least a couple of those links, I would imagine that your website has probably a lot of those links available for others, but and where to buy your book as well when people are ready or when it's ready.
Yeah. When it's out. Yeah.
All righty, perfect.
Yeah.
Leave us with a parting thought. As you're thinking about this conversation and what you're hoping for others, what wisdom might you bring forward as our parting thought today?
It just that no matter what's going on in your life, understand this truth as you are perfectly designed. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You're perfect. All of you.
And there you have it.
I know it.
And know it. Aha, there's the
And know
nugget.
it.
And know it.
Know
That
it.
sense of knowing, here it comes back. The sense of knowing that it is true that you
Yeah.
are perfect. Beautiful. Thank you, Luke, for
Yeah.
today's
Yeah. All
conversation.
right.
There's many,
Thanks
many
so much,
directions this
Michelle.
could have gone. Appreciate everything you shared with us today. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Bye for now. Thank you.